This, right here, is how I got my name. I was browsing a website of online games one day. I think it was addictinggames.com or something similar. And then I came across this. This is actually number 9 in a series that can best be described as Stick Figures meets The Matrix. It's got martial arts, guns, the whole works. It didn't occur to me at the time that this was just the beginning. This one is a classic beat-em-up that's tactically one-dimensional, but it entertained the hell out of my younger self. Mostly. Your means of attacking is limited, and it's real easy to get swarmed by these guys. You do have a roundhouse kick to break out of it, but that drains some of your health. You don't get that health back either. On top of that, you have enemies with weapons that outrange you, making it even harder to get close to them, and a mistimed jump attack will just knock you on your ass. But if you do it right, you knock them on their asses, so it balances out. You may have also noticed that in the time I've been talking, that guy is still stuck on the corner of the computer monitor. Since I'm already getting swamped, that's one less guy for me to worry about for now. And that's good, because I already lost a life here. Well, at least now I can use the post-respawn invincibility to bully these guys and throw them into each other. That never gets old. I had some difficulty reaching the end of this, and not for the reasons you would think. I ran into some weird glitches that never happened back then, but rendered the game unplayable. No idea why they happened. Either way, max out your lives before you start. You're gonna need them. This game doesn't fuck around. I honestly couldn't tell whether it was the game screwing me over, or if my input wasn't registering thanks to my faulty keyboard, but there is nothing more frustrating than taking hits because a game is ignoring your control input. Getting stunned after taking a hit certainly doesn't help. For all I know, I was just a frame too late in hitting the attack button, and I got hit anyway. You can only attack from one direction, so your best bet is to just clump them all up on one side and get into a rhythm so you can throw them into each other, and exploit the wonky AI whenever you can. I don't know, this difficulty feels a little artificial. Well, what I do like is that you're doing all this fighting on the creator's desk. You can even see Xiao Xiao 3 being animated on his computer. This whole series started with one little animation called, I'm trying here, XiaoXiaoMan, which translates to a little bit of creative work. From then on, every installment was known as Xiao Xiao. Now I've been calling myself XiaoXiaoMan for the longest time, and I am fully aware that I'm mispronouncing the Xiao. You could pronounce it either way, but I'm just still too deep in the habit of pronouncing it the old way and stylizing it a little bit. At this point, potato potato. Well, at least we stuck with the little theme in this game, right? As for the guy who made the series, Su Chichiang, this is the last entry in the series he ever made. He went on to make some animated advertisements for some Chinese companies and hasn't been heard from since. A shame, but all good things come to an end sooner or later. And speaking of endings, here we are at the boss. And just like in the rest of the series, he makes the grunts you cut through to get to this point look like pushovers. This is one tough son of a bitch! He has all these elaborate attacks that you can't break out of, and takes huge chunks of health off your life bar, while you're stuck with your limited moveset. What's worse is you have to cut through 4 health bars just to kill him. Are you fucking kidding me? Killing him once over is hard enough. You don't make a boss harder by giving him 4 times the health of every other enemy in the game. That is textbook fake difficulty right there. Though I must admit, there is some grace and elegance in these animations as you watch yourself get your ass beat. Not that it makes this fight any more satisfying. Even if you do get into a rhythm, and can put up with him randomly walking away and walking back toward you, this is a tedious boss fight. You're just doing the same attack over and over again, until you finally get that bastard's health down to 0. Fuck yes. So that's where I started with this series. At the end. Oh well, better late than never. The 4th installment is the real deal. This one's a rail shooter. Pretty ambitious for its time. You know how this works. You see a guy? Shoot him. It's that simple. You move automatically through the world until you're ready to shoot more guys. Sit the fuck down. Who do you think you're dealing with here? What's really funny though, is what happens if you shoot some of these guys in the foot. They don't like it. Doesn't really matter where you shoot them, as long as you hit them. That's one thing I appreciate. Regardless of difficulty, your bullets hurt. As long as you shoot them before they shoot you, you're good to go. Had some close calls there, but then we get this. Ha! Never bring a knife to a gunfight, buddy. Tactically speaking, it's pretty one-dimensional, even for a rail shooter, but goddamn if it isn't fun. As long as you're paying attention— Hey! Knock it off up there, buddy! Yeah, that'll teach ya. Throwing shit at me. I couldn't quite shoot this rocket out of the air, but I'm surprised that didn't kill me on the spot. Doesn't matter. I'm here to assure my own survival. One bullet at a time. I really don't know what this guy's plan was, but it didn't work. I mean, what'd I tell you? This is why you don't bring a knife to a gun! That could have killed me, you know! Getting a little sloppy left me with one hit point and a dream. But a ballistic shield won't do you any good if you poke your head over it. As is tradition, the boss arrives and we get the final showdown. Along with a couple moments ripped straight out of the Matrix. You could tell this guy was a fan, but that's okay. So am I. What's really funny is I didn't even see the Matrix until I was in college. So in the back of my mind, I was like, oh yeah, I remember these from Xiao Xiao. I see where he got the idea. I would cover the rest of the entries in this series, but I wanted this episode to be a smorgasbord of stick figure games. This is just how I got started. There are a couple other games in this line, namely 2 and 6, but there isn't really as much to talk about in those. Soon, I would find myself on everybody's favorite, stickpage.com, where I would spend an unhealthy amount of time watching animations and playing games when I should have been doing my homework. Way of the Exploding Stick is one that sticks out in my mind. It uses animations from Xiao Xiao, but it wasn't made by the same guy. It's also a bit janky and glitchy, but it's still a good time. You face off against an endless stream of enemies, but your objective is not to kill them all. Otherwise you'd be sitting in the same spot forever. I say that like it's a bad thing. It's still fun beating the hell out of everyone. You'll quickly find that this running, flying kick is easily your most overpowered attack in your moveset. You cannot be hit while you're doing it. Throwing people is still fun though. And again, nobody can attack you while you're doing it. You could just stay here and rack up points if you're so inclined, but if you want to get to endgame, you need to move on to the right. Don't worry, you won't be alone. Bad guys will continue spawning from both ways. You can find a health potion down in the corner here, but you can only use it once. And it's the only one in the whole level, so use it wisely. Move sufficiently to the right and you will come across the boss. This guy has more health and more moves than the other enemies, but you can still take him down relatively quickly. He doesn't even seem to be any smarter than the other enemies, which doesn't help his case. But at least it doesn't take 5 straight minutes of fighting him to put him down. I throw him hard enough to defy the laws of physics, and the game ends. Your final message depends on your overall score. Your kung fu is strong. Master Bruce, move over. You is the high-kicking Shiznit. What? I went through again for shits and giggles, getting a lower score on purpose, and got straight up roasted. Ha! Nice technique. I must use it on your sister. Say that to my face, you punk-ass motherfucking cunt! Stick RPG is a monotonous one, but I've gotta save Oh shit, my save is gone. Stick RPG is one I'm sure everybody knows, but I think we all forgot how monotonous it was. Whether it's short, long, or endless, it's a grind. And I gotta tell you right now, if you want to actually make money in this game, you're gonna want to prioritize intelligence. Strength and charm aren't that important in the early game. But that's mainly if you're going for a meta playstyle and want to make money as quickly as possible. You could be a buff boy or a charming Chad, but if you want to bring in bank, you gotta start with smarts. You find yourself suspended in the middle of nowhere, not knowing what the hell is going on, only to take a tumble into the two-dimensional, dimension. Your objective? Live your life and accumulate capital. Aggressive optimization makes the game look like shit every time you move, so let's just turn that off. Boy, that's a flattering job title, isn't it? Yeah, you start with a job at McSticks and you get McDick for pay, so I dumped all my points into intelligence to get a slightly better paying job. As a janitor. That's a lie, I went to the casino and save-scummed my way to a fortune. For some reason, time doesn't progress when you go to the casino, so you can go double or nothing and then save if you win and reload if you lose. With a $1,000 loan from the bank and sufficient abuse of the save system, I can get more money in less time than I ever would actually playing the game. You can even game the stock market because none of the stocks ever go below $1. Couple that with a casino and liberal save loading and... well, it still took me over half an hour to do all this, apparently. The things I do for content. This is boring as fuck. But I promise you, the other means of making money are way slower. If you want to play properly, you can make an honest living by going to school and working a job, or you can be a criminal scumbag, holding up the bank and convenience store, getting into bar fights, or selling contraband. In my experience, being a goody two-shoes is the most reliable way to make money. The more illicit means of making money waste too much in-game time, and don't even have a very good ROI. But this is your story, so you can tell it however you want to tell it. Once you get some good furniture for your home, it becomes even more efficient. Watching TV is more efficient than going to school, the gym, or the bar, but then you're just pushing a button to make numbers go up. Thanks for reminding me how unfulfilling RPGs are. The only real gameplay to speak of is in walking or skating around the world, playing blackjack at the casino, or getting into bar fights. The bar fights are actually really funny because you can get things like fireballs and energy beams. Not that they're any more reliable than your physical attacks. Sometimes an energy beam does pit-over damage, if anything. Sometimes you knock out half their health. What kind of damage spread is that? How this game hooked me for as long as it did is a mystery to me. But reaching endgame is trivial nowadays. It's more interesting to set yourself a day limit and see how much capital you can acquire without exploits. Personally, I already work a monotonous, unfulfilling job, so I don't need a monotonous, unfulfilling game on top of that. So let's switch it up to something more worthwhile. Smart Stick Adventure comes across as a less refined precursor to Henry Stickmin. It's a point-and-click adventure where you need to help this guy reach that treasure chest. And like Henry Stickmin, there's lots of ways this can go horribly wrong. If and when it does, then it's time to reset the level and try again. This art style is very Spartan, but it's functional enough. And besides, it has a certain charm to it, especially when you start to realize that some of these things may be the way they are, because it's just so much easier for the guy to draw and animate that way. Now where'd that treasure chest go? Obviously this way somewhere, but if we do that... we can lure the snake out, but if we just stand there... nom. Once we get past this guy, it's on to level 2. And trust me, there are many, many ways you can meet your end in this game. Oops. Too slow. Didn't make it. Well, now we're getting somewhere. So where do I... oh. Alright, I got you this time. Now we just need... the chest! Come back! Yeah, this is pretty rudimentary stuff. Every other puzzle is a quick time event where you need to find the right spot to click at the right time or you die. Even when you think you got him, there's nothing left to it. Surprise! Okay, back in the water, out of the water, flush the snake, now we're done. Welcome to level 4, you're dead. Reset the level and quickly find a way down. Nope, too slow. Okay, over and over. Oops, I missed. And hey, just for good measure. The timing is so precise here. If you're even a little too slow, you're dead. After some trials and tribulations, I finally make it. Now we can finally head on over there and claim our reward. I won. And then he went on to make a sequel. Now it's in that shimmery style of animation. I'm sure there's a word for it, but I'm not sure what it would be. Your objectives are a little more obtuse this time around, and the environments are a lot more abstract. That first game had an environment that seemed relatively grounded in reality, but what's going on here? There's no rhyme or reason to any of this. I like it. Of course, this also means there's a plethora of new ways you can meet your untimely, violent demise. Including this one, just in case you thought the game was going to go any easier on you. Jesus, that's brutal. It's the same sort of trial and error gameplay as before, but sometimes your choices just don't advance you or end your game unless you intervene in some way. I thought taking this car would end in certain death because I remember that from back then, but no, as long as you leave the wheels alone, you're fine. I did not leave the wheels alone. Then I did it again because I was kind of curious what else might happen. And one nitro boost later, wouldn't you know it, I was right back where I started, somehow. Okay. Unsurprisingly, going to space without a spacesuit doesn't end well. But conveniently, this mushroom will warp into a spacesuit. Okay. And now we can go to space, and that's level 1 completed. Okay. Once we land on this moon, we are once again presented with a choice. And that choice is, do you want to die? Except you don't know which one leads to death until you've already tried it. I got lucky this time and picked the right way. But that doesn't mean that death isn't waiting around every corner. Believe me, there's plenty of potential to die, 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 die. Pick the wrong way, you die. Time it wrong, you die. Don't react fast enough, you die. There's even a few nefarious instances where choosing wrong or being too slow doesn't kill you, but you can't win anymore. Now you can only choose how or when you want to die. You hit the button, but whoops, the platform left without you. So how would you like to die? Spikes or gravity? Ah, I see you chose gravity. Among the most sadistic instances of this is when you're swimming in the air, a moment that even confuses the stick. You're flanked on either side by these octopus-like creatures. If you try going up, one of them grabs you, and now you just have to decide which one is gonna eat you. So much for choose your own adventure, now you're just choosing your own demise. Well, the moment isn't inescapable. If you swim down into the coral, they lose track of you and leave. But that's only a temporary state of affairs. Give it a few seconds, and they'll come back. Try swimming up, and you'll just get caught in the monster's tentacle again. There's no secret to this. Once you're caught, you're caught. There's no way out. Well, there is one way out, but it's not going to end well for you. What you're actually supposed to do is swim to the right before that second monster shows up. And don't even think about trying to go back, or... yeah, that happens. Well, there's nothing for it. The only way forward at this point is to enter the maw of that blue monster instead. And yeah, that's how you beat the level. And that leads us to the worst part of the game. Trying to navigate this thing's digestive tract while avoiding these little red bug thingies. The first couple are just a matter of finding and clicking the right spot, and if you click the wrong spot, you get eaten. It's the later ones that I have a problem with. It's a pain in the ass trying to find where exactly you're supposed to click to advance, and you only have about 1 literal second to find it before you die. Oh yeah, that's real fair. Eventually I started relying on the tab key to just highlight the clickable region in a yellow rectangle. But I finally beat it, splash into the water somehow, and this game is not done screwing with you yet. If you do the intuitive thing and go on the other side to avoid the trap, you get sent back 2 levels. I didn't edit that. I just got sent back, and now have to work my way through all of that all over again. You know what? I think I'd rather just chill with these guys. As long as I don't click anything, I don't get eaten, and I don't have to go through that all over again. Alright, that's Smart Stick Adventure 2. Maybe the real adventure was the friends we made along... Alright, fine, I'll go through it again. Stupid fucking... Now that we've established going left is a trap, we'll go right and get the real ending. Hallelujah. The last entry in the series that I played was Smart Stick Adventure 2.5, which, as the name implies, is a much shorter experience. Here are some of the action-packed highlights. Wee ow! Wee ow! What am I even hanging on? Ah! Wow, that's a big snake. You won't get me this time. Aha! Enjoy the lava bath. Not again! And that's Smart Stick Adventure 2.5. Hapland is worth a mention. You point and click around to get that portal operational. How do you do that? Figure it out yourself. You just click around, hoping to find the right sequence of events. This game one-ups Smart Stick Adventure because you can easily screw yourself, but the game won't tell you that you screwed yourself. I just killed that guy down there, so the game is now unwinnable. But you can keep going. Am I supposed to push this plank over? Nope. Game over. What if I blow up the bell tower? Oops, wasn't supposed to do that. Okay, we're making some progress here. What if I pull the lever again? Oh. Okay, was I supposed to do that? I guess he's going on a little adventure then. Good thing that spear's facing the other way, otherwise he'd get impaled on it. Oh, and just in case this isn't cryptic enough for you, there's also Hapland 2. Same idea. Activate the portal for reasons of reasons. Except this time there's a bazillion more variables to work with, and about 2 bazillion more ways you can screw yourself. Some of these require impeccable timing, like blowing up this cloud the moment that cannonball launches so you can burn the tapestry and destroy the mine, allowing this guy to move forward. And you're still nowhere near done. Let this guy up through the hatch, activate the fan so the moth distracts this guy so he won't drop the crate on the guy below him on his way to the lever, open the hatch, drop the crate, activate the current, open the door, let the guy catch the fish, then he can bounce up and activate the first torch, and now you just have to activate the second torch. So once this guy's done his thing, send him down, off to the right so he can enter the house. You know, this is a game I really shouldn't have been playing at my age, but I was more shocked, well, amused, really, by the gut-splattering violence than any of the other adult themes. Johnny Rocketfingers follows the Duke Nukem school of cool by wearing shades, only caring about himself, and objectifying women. I'm not gonna show you that last one, but you can guess what I mean by that. This lady had her child kidnapped by some local thugs, and she needs Johnny's help getting her back. So Johnny here decides to get right on the God damn it. Yeah, there's no beating around the bush on this one. Johnny is a prick. But it's alright. The barkeep gives Johnny a pretty good reason to care about her. He wakes him up to let him know his bar tab is due. And there's no weaseling your way out of this one. You'd think someone like Johnny would have at least $30 to cough up, but yeah, okay, I'll pay you. Yeah, that was $30 worth of second-degree murder. That was also the shotgun sound from Half-Life 1. Obviously, a refusal won't go much better. I only pay for 2 things. Jack and shit. Have it your way, Johnny. Okay, let's try to talk our way out of it then. Oh, come on, Marty, be a friend. Remember when I saved your wife from that fire? No, but I remember you looting my house while she was burning alive. Same difference. Yeah, this is one smooth operator we got here. He doesn't fall for the look behind you gag either. Obviously, because he's not a fucking idiot. But there are 4 possible reasons Johnny thinks it could work. Because I'm drinking grog. That's a Shirley Temple. God damn it, I asked for a Roy Rogers. Manly tears. Forget this little bar tab and I'll consider not beating the fuck out of you. Comprende? Don't get lippy with me, you little rodent. A tab is a tab. Now pay up before I really get pissed off. Alright, alright. I've got a sweet deal with this bitch that was just in here. I'll come back and pay you when I finish the job. Alright, Johnny, but for your sake, you better be telling the truth. Whatever. And from there, the adventure begins. Most of the game involves just getting railroaded around, watching Johnny snark it up, trying to figure out the best way to advance, or the way to advance, and witnessing the many ways Johnny can get himself killed. Violently. You're even encouraged to go back and pick all the wrong options, just to see what'll happen. Ladies, I shouldn't have to tell you this, but you could do a lot better for yourself than Johnny Rocketfingers. Misogyny and manliness are, in fact, mutually exclusive. But I'm pretty sure that's the joke here. Johnny talks and acts a lot cooler than he actually is. He knows how to hold his own in a fight, and has some pretty impressive action sequences, but you're obviously not meant to take this game that seriously. Reverb, on the other hand, is a story-oriented game that takes itself much more seriously. It's a top-down view like Stick RPG, but it leans more into the horror side of things. You start in a dark building, not knowing where you are, who you are, or what's going on. All you know is that whatever's going on, it ain't good. People are stalking you in the dark and you don't know why. All you can do is light them up. And since you don't know where they're coming from, that makes it even more unnerving. But since you have infinite rounds and don't need to reload, that can put a damper on the tension. Until you get to this boss fight and find out there's a reason you have infinite ammo. Soon after, you meet a man named Rhodes and team up with him. I'm glossing over a lot of lore dump, but it's well worth exploring if you're interested enough. As with all other games in this video, you can find this on Flashpoint, so I'll try not to spoil more of the story than I already have. The sequel concludes the story and has more refined gameplay, but again, the highlight is the story. There's some questionable gameplay decisions in both of these games. Mazes and timers go about as well together as oil and water. It makes me wonder if this would be more viable as a visual novel. But hey, having any kind of story this in-depth back then, in a free online Flash game, was pretty ambitious. I actually got to talk to the guy who made this game, to tell him about an exploit in the finale, where you can just stay in one spot without ever getting hit. He showed me another game he was working on at the time, and we had a nice little chat. I seem to remember, even back then, by his own admission, there was room for improvement in Reverb. No idea what he's up to these days, though. I lost contact with him ages ago, and I don't know if the contact information here still works. Now let's unwind a little with Nevermore. What this game series lacks in elaborate gameplay, it makes up for in atmosphere. These are some very pretty games. Even if the first entry is a little janky in its mechanics. It's very short, and can be cleared in like 3 minutes, if that. There's some pretty basic platforming to keep it out of walking simulator territory, and it doesn't even check to see if you have enough coins to advance in some of these spots. You can go into the negative and keep going. It's not immediately obvious why you're on this adventure, but it's fun to explore, so I can't complain. It leaves enough to the imagination to let your mind fill in the blanks. You're not alone either, since you can see other people milling about the town, yet you still have the sense of isolation. There's no one to talk to, it's just you and the world. There's potential to fall to your death, but if you do, you just reset back to the beginning. Other than that, there's really no fail state. You just make it to the cable car here, and that's it. The second game, like I said, expands on the story, and is actually a prequel. You actually get some reason for why you're going on this adventure. But the first thing you notice about this game is, not only are there people to talk to this time, but this game looks and sounds even better. As for the story, well, you don't get to find out what that is until you go chase this squirrel away. Get out of here, you. You're told to go talk to the shopkeeper, Toybox. With a name like that, I can tell this is an Eastern European developer we've got here. He tells you about a treasure map he found, and that to find the treasure, you need to take the sky rail to get to the mountains. So now we know what we were up to in the first game, and this one tells us how and why we're going there. The platforming is more intricate this time around, and there's more opportunity to dynamically interact with the environment to solve puzzles and get where you need to go. It has a few tricks up its sleeve, but nothing that'll kill you. The backdrop is integrated so tightly into the platforming that it may take a little intuition to figure out where to go and how to get there. Don't expect to see any yellow paint in this game. There's the occasional big drop or leap of faith, but you don't take fall damage, so there's nothing to worry about there. It's another very pretty game with great atmosphere, and I'm doing it a disservice by yapping over it. The third and final installment is easily the best, and it properly fleshes out the story. The story didn't blow me away, but it's serviceable enough. The gameplay got yet another upgrade, but the atmosphere... You know what, I'm just gonna shut up and let you see and hear it for yourself. God, is that beautiful. Gorgeous backgrounds, mesmerizing soundscape, clever gameplay puzzles, what more could you need? Forgive me for skimping out and not even telling you about the collectible hats until just now, but I'd rather let you guys experience this for yourselves. I'd be doing it a disservice to spoil it all. If this is too soothing for you, don't worry. This was just an intermission of sorts, and we're about to dive right back into the senseless violence. Territory War is a game I remember playing on the computers at school. As kick-ass as the music is, you'll have to forgive me because I don't want to risk copyright problems. I'm already taking enough chances as it is. Have you ever played Worms? Then you played Territory War. It has all the same parallels as Smart Stick Adventure has with Henry Stickmin. You take turns moving your fighters, then you can throw a grenade, fire a shot, or just Sparta kick them. There's a single-player campaign you can play through, but I gotta tell you, this early AI is some of the dumbest I've ever seen. And I've seen some dumb AI. I know it's meant to be easy, but it's just laughable how inhumanly stupid and deliberately dumb they are. Wow, legendary aim. Not that Ace's is any better, as you can see, but he insists on the grenades, so what can you do? Besides be grateful that you didn't blow up Roxy. Even an extra fighter isn't enough to compensate for skill issue. I mean, bro, what even was that throw? I mean, bro, what? Show him how it's done, Roxy. Haha, that will never not be satisfying. Now let's see how they What was that? If you land a grenade or a kick just right, you can knock him out of the arena. Of course, the last guy's right next to Ace, which means he's probably okay. Legendary. This is the last guy, so we have assured our victory. Like I said before, the AI is dumb as a sack of rocks in these early levels, so you can easily headshot your way to victory. But things start to get a little more real in the space levels because it's so easy to get knocked out of the arena, but it also works against the AI. This guy knocked 2 of his teammates off the map just so that he could finish me off. Then he met his end at the hands of someone with an even weaker sense of self-preservation than him. Mission accomplished. Let's knock this last guy off the platform. Oh, bullshit! The wonky physics just saved him! Well, your sacrifice will not have been for nothing, Ricky. Finish him off, Roxy!
You are nothing!
Insistent as I was on keeping my fighters in character, Ace decided to finish this fight in the only way he knew how. I mean, what's a little collateral between friends? The game's not without its flaws, like jumping to get a little extra distance, but there's a certain charm to its simplicity, and the fact that you can unlock hats for everyone to wear as well. It's raw, it's unpolished, but it's fun, whether you're against the computer or against a friend. Landing that grenade in just the right spot is always a big rush of dopamine. There's one more game I want to cover, and I've saved the best for last. Electric Man 2. Now we're fucking talking. This was one of my all-time favorite web games. You play as the undefeated champion of the Tournament of Voltagen, a perpetually electrified man, presumably the same from Electric Man 1, which I never played. What's his name? Striker. Yeah, no one will have ever guessed that. You've got 4 rival factions to take on each round, starting with the Replicants. You never get a one-on-one because, in the world of the game, no one man can ever stand a chance against you. Look, even right now they're having second thoughts. You can punch, kick, and grab, but you've also got slow-mo variants of those moves that pack a wallop and, more importantly, render you temporarily invincible and give you a little more time to plot your next move. But doing that drains your power meter, which recharges pretty slowly. These are badass moves, but this one's my favorite. Ugh. How are you still alive? Now don't just stand there, fight me like a man! And now you're going to die, die, die. And that's the end of you. When you beat a team, you get some stats and a code for the game's old-school save system. And then it's time to move on to the next fight. You got some nice variety in the enemies, although you will see a few of them repeat a few times. Just, there's more of them, and they're a little harder to beat the next time around. And it does get tricky. It won't take long before you go from kicking ass to getting your ass kicked if you're not careful. You'll be doing backflips all over the arena just to avoid getting hit while you wait for your power meter to charge. You'd be amazed how quickly your health drains if you let the enemy gang up on you. I would just keep jump kicking and grabbing just to keep them off me, since they can and will interrupt your punch attacks. They can't interrupt your slow-mo attacks, but they can dodge your slow-mo kick. This is a much better fighting game than XiaoXiao 9 was. The controls are a lot more responsive, and will actually adapt to where the enemies are relative to you. Usually. But more importantly, you're not going through the whole tournament on the same health bar, and you have infinite retries. As you climb the ladder, the enemies will start dodging your attacks more and more, and some of them can even regenerate their health. The fact that that can't even save them tells you exactly how much of a badass the player character is. You'd think he would do something with his electricity, like short-circuit every member of Tech Team and end the fight then and there. But he doesn't need to. He just likes a challenge. At least that's the headcanon I go with. Although it does feel silly jump-kicking around the arena just to preserve my health. The final fight against Death is pure bliss. This is the most enemies you fight at once in any of these battles. They go down quick, but so do you if you don't keep your guard up. I was busting out all the stops for this one. Every attack in my moveset, every trick up my sleeve. Because I know they're just fluff. The real challenge is going to be when I get to their boss. He's got twice the health of any one of his cronies, and, like Tech Team, he can regenerate it. A final showdown against him, mano a mano, is inevitable, and he's gonna want to keep his health topped off. But by the time I get to him, I've already drained half of his health, and there is no way in hell I'm prepared to make this easy for him. Every time he knocks me down, he takes that as an opportunity to get some of his health back. It won't do him any good. Once I'm back up, he'll have less than he started with. As I whittle down his health, I keep on kneeing him and just biding my time, waiting for my power meter to charge. I think we all know what's coming. I did the same thing back then, preparing him for a little shock therapy. But he still survived that, so we're gonna have to do it again. So I sheepishly dance around the platform, waiting to recharge. And once I'm ready, it's time to strike him down! Ha ha ha! Undefeated Voltagen champion! And that is Electric Man 2. Still holds up, still recommend it. There's a bazillion other stick figure games I could probably cover, but I've prattled on long enough, so let's end things here. I've been asked where my name comes from. Well, now you know. This is where it all started. I'm not the only one to be so thoroughly influenced and inspired by Xiao Xiao. I half wonder if stickpage.com would exist if not for it. Madness Combat took inspiration from it, and that's still going to this day. So is Animator vs. Animation, a series that pays direct homage in the 4th episode. Boy, that room sure looks familiar. Xiao Xiao left a mark on me. Bigger, stronger, and deeper than you know.